So I'm Toni. My husband and I have been married 17 years. We now have two beautiful girls, Rebecca, who's 5, about to turn 6, and Jessica, who's 4. And at our 20-week scan, we found out that Jessie didn't have any fingers or thumbs on her left hand, which I guess, at that time was kind of a bit devastating, and I can't tell you any reasons why. So we went through our pregnancy until she was born, having no idea why that had occurred or what that might mean for her as she grew up. Jessie was born 2.5 weeks early and born without her thumb or fingers on her left hand. About 3 months after she was born, we went and saw the surgeons at the Royal Children's Hospital. There is some options for her. At the moment, there was no functionality to grip anything. She would be using her wrist as her main way of holding things. So they said to us, we can do a double toe transplant for her. So they would take the second toe off each foot and transfer it, one to the thumb position and then one to a finger position. They couldn't tell us when that would happen. One of the girls on my mother's group was adamantly opposed to it. And that was devastating because it's not really her choice. So that was interesting. And it was hard enough for us to make the decision, let alone having other people who weren't supportive giving their opinion kind of stuff. So, and that's a hard decision because you don't know, although the doctors say to you, she'll be fine, she'll walk okay, you don't actually know that that's going to happen, Will there be a problem with her balance? Will she be able to run properly? So affecting 2 other limbs to get more functionality in another one is a really hard choice. And we were really lucky that we got to meet this girl that was 15 from Geelong. Her mum brought her up and we got to see what her hand looked like. And then we also got to meet another little girl who was only 4 at the time, so 2 years after her surgery down in Gippsland. And her family were nice enough to meet us. And they said, look, short-term pain for long-term gain, because it is really a short-term pain. We've got 6 weeks of 3 limbs in plaster. We don't have support here in Australia, so it was a matter of my husband and I both having to work part-time and looking after Jessie because she couldn't go to childcare. So Jessie was in childcare from when she was 9 months old. Very independent. She likes to do her own seatbelt up. The 5-point harness? And she manages to do that. She's got to wiggle her tingers around to clip it in. But we've been through a horrendous time recently where I'm a bit concerned about school. But my plan is to do the same thing, which is show and tell. And we've found that with other parents of Aussie Hands kids that has worked the best. You're better to get it out in the open. People are going to ask the questions, and then if something occurs, the teachers can deal with it. So that's our plan. So we'll have to see what happens next year. Holding her hand is different to holding her normal hand. So we have our big hand, and we have our little hand, don't we? And we are rock tick. Can you do rock tick? Rock tick? No. So it's funny because I can hold her hand like that. Hi, 7. No, it's a high 5. Hi, 7. Hi, 7. Right. great to educate people about hand differences and that it may not be a genetic problem. So the thing I'd say for a parent that wanted to go through this would be meet some people who have been through it. Meet the people that haven't been through it. Ask the right questions about the functionality of your child's own hand and what the structure of their hand is. For us, Jessica had no functionality because she only had half a palm. But there's some children out there that we've met through Aussie Hands that have a thumb, and they do perfectly well gripping things because they have a thumb. Or then we've met other kids through Aussie Hands that grip perfectly because they have a thumb and forefinger. So I think it's good to talk to people that have been through surgery, and I think it's worthwhile talking to parents that haven't or their kids and see what the kids can do. I like Aussie Hands because I get to see other kids like you, and I get to talk to other parents who are interested, who need information, and we can help with that. I think my main point for doing what we're doing is because we had so much help through Aussie Hands to make our decision that I want to provide that same information to other parents because it's so hard. I mean, it would be easy if the choice was for you. Does that make sense? The hard part is you're doing it for your child, and you don't know that in 10 years whether she's going to look back and say, actually, Mum, I wish you didn't do that. Do you know what I mean? And that's the hardest decision. And